everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show in which I show up late for the very first time due to circumstances beyond my control. And I come to you live from my Corona bunker on the moon with Dog Cat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Hello, everyone. Oh boy, welcome to Wednesday. Wondrous Wednesday. Yes, those of you in the future won't know the difference, but I was half an hour late because 15 minutes before I decided to go live, my internet died across the neighborhood. It was beautiful. I usually, just before I start the show, I restart my computer to make sure everything's fresh. Literally, the moment I restarted my computer, apparently the internet died. So when it came back up, I thought something had died in my computer, but no, it was the internet. But it has fortunately been fixed as of this moment. If this show suddenly dies in the middle, I will pick it up again tomorrow, hopefully. So fingers crossed, knock wood or knock formica, as the case may be. Regardless, hello everyone. Hope you are all doing well. Who all is here with me today for this adventure that has already been an adventure? Why, that would be Zach Osborne, hello. Green Death, hello. Mike R, hello. Cress Pierce, hello. Roger Reynolds, hello. Tarkata, hello. Crimson Tiger, hello. Somnambulan Nation, hello. Bigorit, hello. Spiro Girl. I always say Spiro, I mean Spyro. Spyro Girl, hello. Ms. Slim 1, hello. Wade Willison, hello. Beth Castleman, hello. Emperor W.R. Costin, hello. Zeke Weiss, hello. Frosted Glass, hello. Hate Camel, hello. Somnambulan Nation, I said hello a second time to you because I get caught up in things. Viror of Ashmedai, hello. Lycan King 018, hello. Mr. E, hello. Dark Alile, hello. Purple Pill Perspective, hello. Asian Hippie, hello. Feck Off, hello. That's not very pleasant. St. Michael, hello. Ercole Di Stefano, hello. Luke Skywalker 2, hello. Jaeger Pony, hello. Howard Welsh, hello. And then chat jumped because of course it did. Thrashy, hello. Oh my gosh, so many people. And then chat jumped again. I'm sorry, guys. I might have to curtail the hellos today. I apologize. Thank you, Okie Native. Haven't you ever heard a TEDx before? Nothing is beyond your control. You're a cishet Huite male. You control the universe. Pardon, I forgot to genuflect. Yes, thank you, Okie Native. It's true. I'm the master of my own universe. This is Kyle. Thank you so much. So I'm not late to the show then. Also, hello, chat people and scribbles. Hello, Kyle. Okay. Well, rather than be more discombobulated than I already am, thank you, Ivor Singatorix. Spaceman. Wait, it's all power dynamics? Armed spaceman. Always has been. Oh, geez. Yes. Well, we're going to get to that in a moment, I think. First off, though, something I intended to do from the beginning of all this, I wanted to dedicate this episode to a viewer of ours, Gino Marino. Gino experienced a ridiculously painful motorcycle crash earlier this week. Thankfully, he is in rough shape, but alive and well otherwise. And fortunately, the person who cut him off and caused the whole thing had his premiums paid up. So I want to wish Gino a quick and speedy recovery as much as that can be done. And I hope he and his family are well. Sorry to hear that happen. Glad you're going to be okay, though. Thank you, Bacall the Driving Ape Man, for the communistic thumbs up. All right, so guys, apologies for the curtailed hellos, but I want to get into this because I'm already running short on time as it is for internet stuff. So, what do we have on doc for today? Well, as with most TEDx's, I was caught by the title more than anything else, and that title is "How Interracial Relationships Are Our Power." How interracial relationships are our power. Now, I would hope in my heart of hearts that relationships, or at least positive relationships, by themselves, regardless of who they're with, are a kind of power, a kind of support system, and everything else. But apparently, our speaker, or speakers in this case, because we have two on a stage, not sure how that's going to work, want to tell us how skin color is the important factor here. You know, not the content of one's character. What am I thinking? That's so old-fashioned. So all that being said, let's get right into it. Per usual, I will start off with a few seconds for sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it. Thank you. Hey, we're listening here. Saw you for the first time on Metzger's podcast on Saturday. Looking forward to learning about toning. I am too. That was just the fun little play on words I put into the thumbnail. I like to do that with my thumbnails, have a little fun with the the title, or at least the subject matter as I understand it. Also, I had a complaint, and I'm not complaining about the complaint. Someone was not jazzed about my making slurping sounds and my drinking on the stream. It set them off and was like the anti-ASMR. So I'm going to attempt to still indulge in my pepper jack, but not make it so vocal, just to make sure, because I can understand that kind of irritation. So, are we ready, guys? Let's get into it.
So I want to talk about identities, and
You want to talk about identities? Why am I not surprised? You guys all hear that? We all want to talk about identities. Presentation talking about interracial relationships. You want to talk about identities? All right. A couple of more hellos before we get into it. Genty Maxi, hello. John Smith, hello. Johnny Stoffel, hello. Sheil Gorath, hello. Kiefer Dan, hello. Asian Hippie, hello. Megan Ring, hello. All right, everybody sounds good. Sounds good. All right, here we go.
Didn't share this with you initially, but this is also a personal act of mine. So I have a daughter who's 20, aka Olivia, aka the Sugar Bear. She's a quarter Romanian, a quarter Russian, Ethiopian, and African American with Jewish, Buddhist, Coptic, and Southern Baptist roots.
Wow. That is a lot of identities. How does your daughter handle all of those mystic chords of memory in her head all at once?
And we
that's something to cheer. You know, I hate to tell you this. Your daughter didn't work for any of that. She didn't do anything for any of that. And most of that has to do with nationalities and religious things, completely amorphous, intangible notions about whatever. Not that even if they weren't, they'd mean anything. So I'm dying to know where this is going already. And we're only 23 seconds in.
should have gotten her a therapist when she was born.
Yes.
We should have.
You know what? I think in a unironic way, you're absolutely correct, but maybe not for the reasons you think you're saying that for.
We've given her a lot to work with. And yet, when I think about you, perhaps we haven't.
Why is the other lady's face locked in a open-mouthed grin? That's kind of creepy.
So may I read some of your identities?
May I read some of your identity? Does she have a name? I have a feeling that on her driver's license, there's a single name. Okay. Race is not an identity. Religion is not an identity. These things do not identify you. It doesn't say anything about you. You can be a Black Baptist and be a saint or a serial killer. It says nothing about who you are. Seriously. Okay.
Sure.
Activist, the adopted kid, Afro-Brazilian, Latina, Latinx, Black, artist, therapist, child of hip hop, party promoter, transracial.
Child of hip hop, party promoter. Okay. I'm going to the bingo card, guys. By the way, I forgot to mention, link to the bingo cards in the description. If you don't have yours up, I have mine up. And I am going to circle free space, because free space is free. I'm also going to circle a list, because we have a list of identities. And I'm also going to circle word salad, because child of hip hop, party promoter, I'm already word salad territory here. So 3 on the board. Let's continue.
Racial adoptee, performer, futurist. Upon traveling back to Brazil, you were like, oh, snap, I'm actually American.
But what? Oh, snap, I'm actually American. Was she We're only a minute in, and I don't even know who or where we are.
Yeah.
So I say I haven't given the sugar bear a lot to work with, but of all the
You haven't given your 20-year-old daughter, you've dumped on her all of these things that are supposedly important that say nothing about who she is. She needs therapy. I don't know. Thank you, Bacala Driving 8 Man. As a supporter, slurp away. Well, I take feedback. I take criticism. I can adjust. I want to make everybody as comfortable as possible. This is, as much as I can make it, a safe space. Yeah.
those identities, which of those that have really kind of shaped who you are as a woman, as a scholar, as an activist?
Well, you just named off another 3 identities: a woman, a scholar, an activist. Who she is doesn't matter, does it? Nothing of what you listed says anything about what kind of person she is. Says nothing about her character. Which of these things informed who she... It's the reverse, isn't it? Or shouldn't it be? Or am I missing something?
Which of those identities?
No one identity. So I can't see all of you. It's weird, but I'm going to keep looking and hopefully it looks okay.
All right. Well, her one identity is Liana Menisi, if I'm saying that correctly. Not one of them. Yeah, none of them informed who you are. Who you are informs all of those things. That's, you got it backwards.
Because I know you're out there.
Uh-huh.
No one identity has shaped who I am. And I think that is the goal of my work.
Okay, we're already starting off with the most ridiculous premise. No one identity has shaped who I am. That's not... All of those descriptors listed off are a reflection of who you are. Okay? They are the outgrowth of whatever kind of person you are, even though none of those things say anything about what kind of person you are. Your interests, your inspirations, what gets you excited, what doesn't get you excited, onward and onward. The person you are is what informs those, not the reverse. So already we're in mirror universe territory here.
And my life is to prove that to everybody, that there is no one part of ourselves. There's just a lot of pieces of ourselves.
Yeah.
That is your mission in life, to prove to people that you are more than the sum of your parts? Wow, gosh, I'd never thought of that before. Have you guys thought of that before? Wow, golly. I wonder how difficult a journey this has been for her.
Can I ask perhaps to say what has been like a transracial adoptee? Or can you say more about what that is?
Yeah.
A transracial adoptee? What? Transracial adoptee? I've never heard that before. Should that be a new buzz phrase? Transracial adoptee.
Yeah. So I didn't want to give this particular person like play when this interview was going on, and my partner and I joked that we would call it Dolezalian. But if you remember who
Dolezalian. Okay, I don't care if that was a buzz phrase or not. I like that one. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. Dolezalian. Okay, and you know that Rachel Dolezal was a complete joke, right? I mean, I hope she's not taking it seriously. It sounds like she's not, but all the same.
that Dolezalian person is, who was using the word transracial. It upset a lot of adoptees because that's like our word that we've been using for a very long time.
Adoptees, transracial. Okay, in all honesty, before the whole Rachel Dolezal thing happened, and somebody had made a joke, I forget who it was. It was either like, it was someone in the group of Sargon and the other people, I think, at the time, who made a joke that at some point we'll get to transracial, and then Rachel Dolezal came along. Was transracial a phrase for adoptees before Rachel Dolezal? I'm not an adoptee, so I don't know. I learn something new every day.
To talk about being raised in families where your parents are a different race than you are.
That doesn't make you then their race. You're not transitioning race. If it matters at all, transracial. Okay.
And so that's really what it means.
But you're not transitioning. There's no transition. If a black family adopts an Asian baby, the baby does not transition to becoming black. Okay,
You know, I've been really interested in the idea of space, and I used to be terrified by it also.
Oh, I've been interested in space for a very long time. That's why I live on the moon. It's terrifying as well, because in space, no one can hear you. Duh.
And then I realized this planet is in space. And I was like,
what? What did I just hear? Where are we? What am I watching? Who am I? What?
I was like, oh, we're space travelers.
Yeah, we are.
And we want to put things on Mars and on other planets, and yet we haven't gotten the space between us right.
Oh, that's deep. Well, tell us how to bridge the gap in the space between. And I'll avoid singing the Dave Matthews song.
And so when you think about embodying an interracial relationship just within you,
what?
Can you say more about the space between all kinds of people, and what's the work that you do needs to be done?
Yes, tell me about the work needing to be done to bridge the gap between racial people. I'm dying to know. This is why I'm here. This is why I want to learn something.
Everything that I like to think about is centered on relationship. Because in our bodies,
yes,
there's a lot happening, right? Because we are stardust and clay, as Lucille Clifton would put it.
Am I watching a hippie commune discussion or something? This is all a bit too new age for me, I think.
And because of that,
yeah,
when I first, sort of thought about my own identity, you think about it in relationship to everybody you're around, your family, your friends, when you're a child, all of those kinds of things. But
maybe not. Maybe you just kind of figure out who you are based on what you do and what you're interested in. Maybe don't assess yourself on the basis of other people around you necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong, trying to, impress your parents, let's say, or make your parents proud of you and that kind of deal, or live up to their ideals or live up to their example. Sure, there's an element of that, I suppose. But after that, I think at a certain point, you just kind of have to figure it out on your own and not worry or rely too much on other people to affirm who you are. But maybe I'm just speaking for myself.
When I really had to sit and name myself and really think about that.
What?
That battle exists very much within our own bodies as well.
What?
And I think that for people who are part of transracial families, people who are multiracial, biracial, arguably that's a lot more than care to admit.
Okay, now the phrase multiracial family would make more sense than to say you're a transracial adoptee. You're just a multiracial family. I mean, if it matters at all to point that out, that would make, well, actual sense. Transracial. Oh boy. Okay. I have no idea what this is or where it's going, guys. Really, I'm. This was a complete blind dive.
And I think that matters greatly because, we have been, very much, our stories have been really avoided.
What?
And
Who?
From all sides. And I think that they're avoided because we really do embody that conflict and that fear of what it means to truly be in relationship with all the complexities of ourselves and all the complexities of those around us. And so when people see people who they can't identify quickly, you know, and I'm sure people in the audience can relate to, you know, what are you?
If I had more than one square called word salad, I'd be circling them all right now, because this is gobbledygook. I don't even know what the subject really is. The title tells me interracial relationships are our power. Okay, are we going to get to that at some point? I'm going to go to the bingo card real quick just to make sure I haven't missed something. Contradicts own point argument. They haven't made an argument yet, so there's nothing to contradict. White supremacy, no. Takes credit for something experienced by others. I don't know. Saying that all us adoptees used this phrase, or it was ours before Rachel Dolezal. Not sure. Thank you, Johnny Stoffel. Transitioning to an open 24/7 word salad bar. Yeah, no kidding. Thank you. Marginalization, marginalized, not yet. Wage gap, no. Childhood or family anecdote. Yes, because she talked about being adopted. That's, I'm sure we'll get to more of that. Leaves out vital context. I'm probably going to circle that before we're over with. Self-vilification or wretchedness, not yet, if at all. Equity, no. Weightless example, hasn't given any examples. Toxic, not yet. Make something about race, sex, etc. for no reason. I'm going to probably be circling that by the end of this, because they haven't really justified any of that yet. Microaggressions, unconscious bias, not yet. Oh, well, actually, you know what? She did say, what are you? And the whole what are you or where are you really from, etc., is one of those microaggressions. Now, on the off chance they actually officially use one of those phrases, I'm going to wait on it. But by the end, if they haven't, that'll be enough for me to at least circle it. Anecdote that probably never happened. We haven't had any anecdotes yet. Privilege, not yet. Benevolent condescension, not yet. But if we do, we'll have a bingo real quick. Systemic institutional, no. Plays victim. I have a feeling we'll have a firm example sooner or later. Feminism, no. Patriarchy, no. Mind reading assumes motives. A little bit so far in assuming what other people think about them, etc., but I'll let it go for a little longer. So let's keep our fingers crossed for benevolent condescension, everybody.
You know, just very personal, very vulnerable questions very quickly. And that's because people are afraid, you know, and we elicit that in people. And experiencing that identity is complicated, to say the least.
Yeah.
Okay, assuming that you elicit fear in people, that's mind reading assumes motives. Just because of what you are, you think that you elicit fear in people for some reason? Yeah, okay. Got that one. Thank you, Ebony Williams. Hey there, Scribbles. Have you heard about TEDx London using the term womenixen to be inclusive to non-binary women? Not a typo, by the way. Yeah, no, I commented on that on Twitter, and I read it out last night on Lords of the Night. I asked the question, since womenixen is a term meant for inclusion and to be lacking prejudice and such, I asked the question, well, what about a woman who wants to spell women as women? If a woman wants to spell women as women, are they included enough, or are they too divisive to be a womenixen? So what's the logic there? Yeah, womenixen, or however you say it, womenixen. Yeah, TEDx London. I'm going to have to look for something specifically from TEDx London in the coming weeks to see if maybe that's the preamble to an actual talk. I would love to have them talk about the term womenixen and do a show on that one. All right, guys. So again, benevolent condescension, fingers crossed for that one. Here we go.
Well, what kind of wisdom is afforded to you to be in the midst of whiteness and blackness and Latino-ness and all the things, right? Like, what you must hold a place of wisdom about identity and how that works.
Because she has various... Again, they listed off so many things about this lady. For the sake of argument, I'll just say that she is a mixed race individual. So the combination of racial heritage gives her a special wisdom about each individual race. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound racist at all, does it? Jesus.
right? Because you're seeing it from many different perspectives. And
No. She is a single individual. She doesn't see it from many different perspectives. She is a person. She is not a kaleidoscope. I mean, in the abstract, maybe you could say, yes, she has all these different parts of her heritage. But if she had all those same parts of her heritage, and she was dropped off blind in country X somewhere and raised in that country, none of those things would determine anything about her that wouldn't be determined just by growing up and being raised in that environment. It says nothing about who you are. It does not. And yet here we are. Apparently, she has wisdom imparted upon her because of things that have absolutely nothing to do with knowledge. It's amazing.
And maybe a better offering is how you think about love.
So,
well, wait. I'm sorry, guys. This is just blowing my mind in more ways than one. Okay, so because she has a multiracial heritage, she sees everything from different perspectives. So because she's got, and again, I'm going off of our speaker here. She's white, black, Latino. Therefore, she sees everything from white, black, and Latino perspectives, as though being white, being black, being Latino means you have a singular viewpoint on the world, which is a great way to look at the world, obviously. But now, all that combined, what about love? What? I mean, what? Like love from three different perspectives? Holy cats, guys. Shrouded Angel, thank you so much. Hey, you. Hey, Shrouded Angel. Okay. I'm scared of what's going to happen next.
Sort of to the first point.
What?
I think that
there was a point? Yes.
I see the world first as a black woman, I think.
You see the world first as a black woman, you think. Got it.
And I think that has been my salvation.
Okay. Thank you, Tall Person. Hoy all. Happy National Teddy Bear Day, everybody. Well, thank you, Tall Person. I got a teddy bear. I got a couple of teddy bears. I got the first teddy bear I was ever given when I was a baby. He's just called Bear because that's what he is. I'm going to circle make something about race, sex, etc. for no reason because I'm sorry. I see the world as a black woman first, I think, and all the other stuff prior to this. Yeah, no, sorry.
That part of me and those people, black women, and anybody who identifies as a black femme has influenced me the most greatly because that's what has challenged me and the people who have challenged me to be my most authentic self and my whole self. And so
your most authentic self, your whole self, but you see the world first and foremost as a black woman, you think. Okay.
I think that needs, recognized. So thank you all the black women all over the world. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you to all the black women all over the world. Okay. All right. Sure. Keep talking.
All of you should be thanking black women all over the world. So we should probably get a bigger applause than that, I think.
No, I apologize. Please keep going. Continue with this wisdom.
Thank you. Yeah, and I mean that. I mean that very sincerely.
Oh, I believe you when you say that you do. I really, really do believe that is how you see the world and assess other people. I honestly believe you.
But it is the intersections of that and being aware of those intersections that has allowed me to move throughout the world in different ways. And I think that the question is sort of split in two in a lot of ways because you are expected to, sort of pick sides. And we've heard these kinds of ideas, which of course are are toxic for so many reasons.
Toxic! Oh boy, guys, we got a toxic. All right. Oh man, who knows where this is going to go? We are on the edge of a couple of bingos. Oh boy.
And, but we are, intersections, of lots of things.
And we talked about intersectionality and the theory of intersectionality on a previous TEDXcellence. So if you happen to be new here, and hello to all of you who might have come from the Kurt Metzger podcast, check back on my playlist or the channel page and go back to a show with a thumbnail that says calculating the overlap. And you'll hear from the author of the concept of intersectionality what that actually means. And you too will be informed. And everybody who was there for me, or there with me for it, thank you, Pepperjack, for mumbling my words. We already know what intersection is, don't we? And she lives it. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And I have, Kimberly Crenshaw, who talked about intersectionality, to thank for helping me to understand that.
Oh, and me too. Me too. Hashtag me too. Oh, we are on the same page, girlfriend.
Have plenty of other incredible people to thank for helping me to understand all of those complexities that exist. But the challenging part is really to own it. And I think that that's where the love part comes in, because I'm not sure how we can fully learn to love ourselves if we're not asking these kinds of challenging questions.
Yeah, there's nothing better than having an outside source with a fantastical theory on reality to tell me how I should see myself, and then going along with their theory so I can feel like I've made some grand revelation of my own. And I know I'm kind of stepping on the toes of the entire self-help industry that way, but all the same, intersectionality is such a magic bullet, isn't it? It just explains everything. It's the unified theory of how everybody works inside by being overlapping versions of different abstractions. Yeah. Ain't life grand?
When we think about who's othered. And right now, I'm up here because I'm othered.
Okay. Plays victim. I'm up here because I'm othered. You're on a stage at a TEDx talk because you're othered. Okay, tell me more.
Up here because I'm complicated.
Oh, you're complicated. Oh, are you? Are you though? I'm not sure. There's a couple of very simple, brief words I might use to describe everything I've heard so far. And they're not that complex to understand, no matter how many buzzwords you put around them.
And that's why I've been invited here. And that's why I do everything that I do. But I think that it's really important that we challenge these ideas of otherness and think about how we are helping people to belong, and not belong from a place, in our industry, we call it trauma porn, not from a place where we're like, wow, look at all the things these people have gone through and, where they are, but really thinking about it as every single one of us, every single person here, every single person that we'll interact with for the rest of our lives is complicated too.
I am not complicated the way that you are complicated. I just am not. I'm pretty sure. Admittedly, I am my own worst witness, as most of us are, but I'm fairly certain that whatever complexities you possess, you and I will not align. I'm pretty sure. Oh boy.
And if we're going to think about belonging and who's belonging, we need to think about who's othering. And when that question about love pops up for me, and I can't remember the particular quote, so forgive me, but there is something that Bell Hooks said years ago.
Bell Hooks! Oh boy, if we were using version 1 of the bingo card, we'd have a square circled right now. Oh well, those were the days.
A book that she wrote all about love that talked about, love saving you. Love can only be your salvation if you want saved.
Something can only be your salvation if you want to be saved. That sounds familiar somehow, some way.
You want it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that for me personally has really been huge, in thinking about, do I want it? And a lot of times I don't. I'm scared to death to want to love myself and to love the people around me. It's very scary. And I think a lot of us are scared, which is why we don't challenge each other and we don't ask the questions in between the lines and in between the spaces. And we objectify and fetishize each other, particularly multiracial people.
You know, and I know I might be stretching here a little bit. The only people so far that I've heard fetishizing, I'm getting my Sean Connery on because of the pepper jack. The only fetishizing, whatever, of multiracial people I've heard so far are from our speakers. Just lauding each other over either their daughters or their own multiple identities, and pointing to that list of adjectives as somehow a benefit or some kind of medal hanging around their neck. Yeah, okay.
And, you know, I think that challenging each other and asking those questions to ourselves first is really how we can start to move humanity forward.
Oh my gosh, guys. I know I might be taking a step out on a ledge here, but her last couple of statements there, talking about how, you know, everyone needs to take these steps to move forward as humanity. You know, she's got the knowledge. I think that's benevolent condescension. Do you think so? I think so. And so, if I'm not mistaken, at only 9 minutes and 23 seconds into a 17-minute presentation, I don't know, guys, but we do have...
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
Oh my gosh, guys, we have a bingo from the B down to the O diagonally. We have a bingo. Oh boy, oh boy. You think we can get another one before the show's out? Let's find out.
And I think that humanity, I mean, it's going to stay. It's always stayed. Black people are still here. So humanity has always been here. But, you know, it gets complicated from there, I suppose.
Can I read a quote from our Lord and Savior?
Who is your Lord and Savior? Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit because I cut her off, but who is your Lord and Savior? I hope it's a joke, but I'm ready if it's not.
Can I read a quote from our Lord and Savior? That would be Audre Lorde.
Audre Lorde. Audre Lorde. I don't know that name. Okay, Audre Lorde. I'll have to look at. Does she have a TEDx talk?
Wasting ourselves fighting the truths between us.
Could you repeat that for me?
Yeah. Wasting ourselves fighting the truths between us.
The truce or the truths? Like TRUCE or the TRUTHS? Truce or truths? I'm assuming with the word fighting, the contrast would be truce. Okay.
And you talk about a lot of times this kind of holding multiple truths.
Yes.
Multiple truths about what? Does this go along with the multiple identities? I'm seeing everything through 3 different racially veiled perspectives all the time.
Can you say more about that?
Yeah, I think the greatest lesson that I learned is that 2 things can be true at one time.
2 things can be true at one time. About what? I mean, the sky is blue and also contains nitrogen. Yes, those 2 things can be true at the same time. That is... I need some specificity here. I'm going to circle leaves out vital context in a second. Not that it already doesn't deserve it, but... Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Truths. Yes, the truths are on fire. We don't need no water, etc., etc.
It's like the one thing that nobody wants to sort of own, but it's like the best thing that ever happened to me.
What are you... 2 things can be true at the same time. About what? About what? I mean, that unless you're saying like water is wet, but it's also dry. I mean, or 2 + 2 = 4 and 5. What do you mean two things can be true at the same time? I need an example. Please, please. I don't even know where we are, but give me an anchor here, would you?
And I say it to myself all the time as a reminder, that, I'm very critical of myself, and I'm sure there are people in the audience who can relate to that.
It's true. I can relate to being overly critical of myself. Yes. About what?
Experience. And most of us are critical of ourselves, because we've been traumatized or taught to be this way.
No, oh my God. Okay. Thank you, Crimson Tiger. Audre Lorde is a Black lesbian feminist poet writer. Okay. I can't say I'd ever heard of her before. Thank you, Crimson Tiger. Yeah, we are overly critical of ourselves because we're traumatized. We're traumatized. That's why. It's not like a little bit of second guessing or self-doubt is good to keep one honest about things, or just, try to temper the notion of becoming arrogant or overconfident about things in the world. At least that's how I see it. I don't know.
To survive. And, I think that we are constantly battling these truths within us, right? And think,
Okay. Self-doubt, internal conflict is common human experience. This is not wisdom. This is not some grand revelation we're being given here. To say that people move through their lives trying to figure out who they are, where their place is in the world, having to deal with life and their emotions and reality versus their wants and desires and circumstance, and on and on and on. I'm sorry. To our speaker, I am sorry. You are not complex. You are not complex. You are not complicated. Everything you're talking about in such grand terms is ordinary. You are aggrandizing the mundane and calling it wisdom. That's all you've done so far. Now, maybe there's something more in your writings or in your speaking that says otherwise. Maybe you'll convince me otherwise before we're done with this talk. But so far, I haven't heard anything that I would qualify as wisdom or something very insightful that any other rational human being couldn't come up with on their own. I'm sorry. I hate to tell you that. Thank you, Ms. Lim 1. Have they actually said anything of substance so far? No. And that in and of itself is kind of fascinating.
Thank our Lord,
Yes.
Lord. Thank you, Lord, for giving us this great gift of helping us to really see ourselves and others, right, as these complicated pieces.
So Audre Lorde gave you the gift of seeing people as something more than just objects on a plane. And by plane, I mean plane. Audre Lorde did this. Man, her poetry must be something else to give you that kind of insight.
Most of the time when people are fighting or arguing or on a small level, and also when we're talking about much larger levels, and even when we're talking about any intersections of oppression, patriarchy.
Patriarchy. Oh boy, go to the bingo card. Patriarchy. All right. Yeah. And this applies to things that are small, but also large, and things that are big, but also short, and also things that are wide, but also kind of thin.
Well, all of the, white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchy, any
white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchy. Oh, white supremacy. Oh, okay. White supremacy, circle white supremacy. Oh my gosh. She just rattled through. If she talks about feminism, oh man, I don't know, guys. Okay. All right. Here's my promise to you, chat. If they don't actually say the word feminist by the end of this, between Audre Lorde and Bell Hooks, I'm going to be circling feminism, and we will have a second bingo. So it's almost guaranteed, but I just want to wait and see if they actually say the word to make it official. Okay? All right. That's my promise to you.
of those intersections.
Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Intersectional oppression. Yes, actually, I can answer that. The theory of intersectionality says that for each element of your makeup that is considered off of the top power structure hierarchy norm, that being white, male, heterosexual, able-bodied, every individual element of your makeup that varies from that. So if you're a female, if you're not white, if you're disabled, if you're not straight, each one of those things by themselves has its own radiation of oppression inherently in society. But then with each additional one you stack upon the other one, it creates an exponential increase in the amount of oppression that you actually experience. So intersectional oppression, intersectionality, is about overlapping oppressions made up of aspects of your makeup that deviate from the power structure norm. Now, did that make sense? Because that is what I've learned. And I think I got it right. Moving on.
All of those intersections are really there.
Who are you trying to convince with that statement, might I ask?
At the same time. And so none of us are coming in contact, as one part of ourselves, at any time, unless we choose to do that.
Whoa. Wait a second. We started this out with a long list of descriptors of our speaker. She carries these things with her all the time, just as our interviewer's daughter does. And yet you can choose to come to the table, so to speak, with one of them if you desire? How? Thank you, Okie Native. It works like the Weight Watchers calorie cards. I guess that's one way to look at it. Also like a horror scope after a fashion.
Unless we're making a conscious effort usually because somebody is oppressing us and we're unaware of it, to change pieces of who we are before we enter those spaces.
How do you change your facial features? Let's just put it there. I mean, how do you choose to change something about you that is effectively immutable in order to fit in before you walk into a room? And why would you want to? I mean, I don't know if our speaker's encouraging people to do that. I would hope not, because why would you not want to bring your whole self, your authentic self, into every conversation? Why would you want to hide or oppress aspects of your own makeup? Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Well, Johnny, I hate to tell you this. There are a lot more TEDx's to come, so get your standards ready to lower.
And so really trying to understand that and navigate, myself first and how I'm entering places and spaces.
What?
And what does that exist? What is that space between who I am engaging with, whoever it is, that may or may be making me think about holding pieces back about who I am.
How do you move through the world? I ask this question rhetorically so often. I listen to people explain to me how they see the world and effectively how I should see the world. And I always stop somewhere in there and think to myself, can I imagine for a moment what it must be like to be this person and walk down the street and see different people? I mean, just like a black woman or an Asian man or a white woman or a tall person and a short person, and on and on. And just imagine if I could put what they're telling me about how the world works over my eyes for a moment, wear some judgment goggles, let's call them. How would I operate in a world that they've drawn out for me? How would that work? Knowing me as I do, if I had to operate under those rules, what would happen? And I'm doing that right now. I'm very sort of morbidly curious to know what happens when she's walking down the street? How does she see other people? How does she assess them? Or what's going on? What kind of anxiety must you have if you actually believe what she's saying and have to walk around on eggshells, not only around other people, but just around yourself every time you come across someone you don't know, and even someone you do? How does that work?
I think it's where we think that we're sort of denial.
Yeah, talking to people who presume importance other, just sort of for nonsense, so very
That's the denial piece. What's gonna not kill me, but kill whoever's denying.
what? There we go. I was roboting. There. See, I knew it. I knew it. Wow. Okay. So I was can you hear me now? Anybody hear me at all? Okay, I might end this then because I don't know if I'm coming across at all. I'll give it another couple seconds here, but I might have to just call it. Yeah, okay. Well, on the off chance this gets recorded somehow, some way onto the permanent record, I'm going to end the stream here because obviously I'm having internet problems and I can't do anything about it. So I apologize to everybody for the truncated episode, but it's not worth continuing. So thanks, everybody. I'll follow up on Twitter shortly. Appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next time.